Kevin? No, I'm sorry, Sean. I have brothers, both Sean and Kevin. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Any correspondence, Sean?
Not this evening.
Okay, superintendent reports.
Yes, first of all, I'd like to update everyone on our website. As in Mr. Bedell is no longer with our district, I'd like to first of all thank him for his service. But one of the last things he did was work on to make sure that our website was transitioning to its new template, its new platform. As you may remember, the platform we're using, or the template rather, I should say, that we are using will be phased out from support from our provider. And we have worked with them that on Christmas Eve, they will be transitioning as it is a time of low impact, hopefully web service. So when you go wake up on Christmas Day, you should see a nice new clean website that hopefully is much easier to navigate. So I'm very excited to announce that. As I know that was a lot of work on Mr. Bedell's part, and hopeful again that it will make it a much easier experience for all navigating and looking for information from our district. We also are in the midst of wrapping up, so I should say, our Spirit Month that was put together from our Student Council and our OAL. This entire month, they have created different special days to try to bring out more holiday spirit, put smile on faces. For instance, today is our Ugly Sweater Day, hence my attire this evening. Our students and staff have done a fantastic job of showing their spirit throughout this time with some amazing light up outfits and hats and ugly sweaters today and pajamas, which is always a popular one and the like. So thank you to our students for organizing this. I know it's been a good time had by all, and something that even though we are currently remote, is something that I know students are still participating in every day too. And speaking of which, so far, I know we entered our brief period of remote days last Thursday with our snow day / remote day, and then into this week as well. So far, those days are going well, and we're looking forward to resuming our hybrid schedule on January 4th as it stands right now. Hopefully, we don't hear anything else from the health department that would change that, and we're maintaining our course to reopen on January 4th. And I'd like to also have, as this is our last meeting of our calendar year of 2020, I'd like to say a special thank you to all of our students, our families, and our staff. This has been a crazy year for all. And I just can't say throughout the entire year how proud I am to be a part of the Tabernacle Township School District, of the actions of our students, of our parents, of our community, of our staff. It has been just awesome to see everyone try to navigate through this and how everyone's persevered. And I really wish everyone a happy holiday, a happy new year, and may 2021 be so much better.
Amen.
Thank you. Here, here. All right, thank you. Liaison reports and JSBA, Mrs. Corey.
Okay, we held our remote delegate assembly on November 21st, and in your packet were my notes from that meeting. So the only thing I want to discuss is the resolution. I'm not going to read the resolution because it's there for you, but I just want to give you a little bit more background information because I think it's something we may deal with later down the road. We don't know. But the resolution was brought because there was a board member who already was completing someone's term, but that term wasn't complete yet. What they then wanted to do, they wanted to run for another position on the board to extend their own term. So if they were completing that 1 or 2 year term, they wanted to run for a 3-year term, which would then extend their term. The problem they found with this was that it now opened up a spot on the board that had to be filled. Since it was done before time to do a petition for an election, the board then would have to find a replacement for that individual. They felt, and discussion went on for over an hour and a half, so there was a lot of discussion about this at the assembly. So they felt that by doing that, they were taking the board selection out of the hands of the community. This then, they believe, would inhibit the integrity and fairness in the election process. So they strongly believe that it should be the community voting for a board member. It should not be the board selecting someone. So that can happen. That was understood. Somebody, for whatever reason, could leave, but they didn't want this to become a precedent where people now who are completing a position would then try to extend their position by running for another board seat. So they felt that that person should resign their position, then fill out the paperwork, run for the new board seat. If they don't get it, that's it, they're gone. But since they're resigning their position, now you would have that position open to be voted on by the community. Some of the people, delegates asked about, well, what impact would this have? Does it mean anything? It's only a resolution if it's passed. And I believe it was Dr. Feinsod had said that there was a case in 1990, even though it was a while back, but the commissioner ordered a nominating petition stricken from the ballot unless that member resigned. It was upheld in court. So they said there you would have some law behind you. So if this resolution passed, the School Board Association would advocate to the legislature for this resolution to become a law. So this is important for us. If, let's say, somebody on our board decides to resign and doesn't complete their term, if it's getting near an election time, you would want whoever was filling that term, if there was somebody already completing that term, you'd want them to resign so that that opening would appear on the ballot with another position that could be opening up. Hopefully that makes sense to you. This was a real big deal for them. The idea was to prevent anyone completing a term to then now look for a longer term. And there was one more thing I wanted to comment on that. I guess that was it. They just wanted to discourage anybody from trying to do that down the road. And that's it. I just wanted to add a little bit more of the clarification to it.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mrs. Shoemaker,
Yeah,
Burlington County SBA.
Burlington County School Boards met on Thursday, December 3rd. My notes were in there along with the update from government relations, but I'm just going to point out a few things. One of them is that workshop presentations from October 2020 will be available for 1 year if there's any of them that you wish to view. There were a number of school board members that were honored with different levels of achievement. Jesse, our field rep, wanted to be sure that everybody was reminded that all mandatory training for this year was completed by the 31st. So those who are in their first term, Governance 1 you've already done, Governance 2 needs to be completed, Governance 3 and Governance 4, whichever of those applies to you by the 31st. If not, they will be notifying the Patty about who's missing their program completion. The handout with the for the government relations, a lot of what was on there was based mainly around COVID and the effects of the virtual education and the impacts that it's had on the schools and their budget. The thing that I really found very interesting was the keynote speaker. She was, her topic was building resilience in challenging times. And it was mostly about trauma-induced brain damage. And by trauma, it didn't necessarily mean physical trauma. It could be any type of trauma. She listed the three types. PTSD, which is a single event trauma, developmental trauma, which is not a mental disorder, it's just a mental change, and adverse childhood experiences. That's what happens in households, in the community, and in the environment. And she said with COVID, this could be something that may pop up with students in the very near future. She felt that students that had IEPs, their IEPs should be trauma-informed IEPs. She really did an excellent presentation, and I included the information here that if there's any way for the district to use her for an in-service, I think it would really be beneficial. There was a lot of information that she had. The next meeting is on February 4th, and it's going to be dealing with the insensitivity of school logos. You know, like the Washington Redskins got rid of there are a lot of schools in our area that have logos and mascots that aren't quite copacetic nowadays. So there's going to be a discussion about that.
Okay, that it?
Yep.
Okay. HSA, Mrs. Shoemaker.
There was no HSA meeting.
Just checking.
What? Was there?
No, not in the month of December.
Okay. Phew. I thought I missed one.
Ed Foundation, Colonel Hensky.
Yeah, the foundation received a grant from Toshiba for $1,000 for a hydroponics tower. And thanks to Miss Murrow for submitting the project. So that was it's a good win. And the foundation continues to put in grant applications, hoping to get more money for the district. So that is pretty much everything that's going on with that foundation.
$1,000, cool. Okay, Flash. I feel like I reported on this already, but it's dated 12/1. Does anybody remember me presenting this? Casey? It was the presentation, Parenting While Social Distancing.
Yes, that was
Julianne
12/1.
Riley.
Right. We had the clinical social worker come. She presented to families basically how to support their children at home during the pandemic.
Right. Right. So biggest challenges, quality characteristics, what's working, what isn't, holding steady, listening intently, offering empathy, managing anxiety when it becomes too intense, how to keep a routine, special time, gratitude and generosity, brainstorming, what can we control, and check-ins, parenting with positive discipline. There, all the updates are on the CPAG website. The next meeting will be in March. I don't know if we talked about this at the meeting or if this is just my own personal note. IEP development review. I think I wrote that just so that I could remember to mention it, but I don't think that's what was decided. So the next meeting will be in March. Check the website, the CPAG portal in the website. There's all kinds of new updated information. School Wellness Committee. Mr. Dilts.
Sorry, I fired off and I was still on mute. All right, we had a meeting on December 15th at 8 a.m. There were 16 attendees, including 2 student reps. I'll move quickly through the notes because I think more details will be forthcoming on each of these topics. So first, Wellness Week in the school will be January 25th until the 29th. There will be some work and support from the student council on that. There will be a focus on social emotional learning as well as physical activities and a way for students who aren't physically in the building to participate. They're thinking of doing a school-based, school-wide activity through Zoom to incorporate some activities through the morning announcements, and then potentially reboot Wellness Week again in the springtime. The next topic was Jump Rope for Heart. That'll be held during the Kids Heart Week, which will be February 22nd until the 26th. Activities will occur in gym class during the week with different cardiovascular stations, jump rope stations, etc. Various themed days for clothing, bright colors, variety of fruits and vegetables, very healthy focus. This will be including a fundraiser, which the last day of donations is planned for February 26th, which concludes the week. And there will be daily heart health challenges posted in Google Classroom for the students. 3 more topics that were discussed. One was National Autism Awareness Month. That'll be in April. Right now, they're considering pause for a cause, and more updates will be forthcoming. Ms. Murrow, I believe, is spearheading that. Food Allergy Awareness Week will be May 10th to the 15th. More details will come on that. Again, different color themes. They're going to incorporate some information through NutriServe and do some things over the morning announcements. And then Social Emotional Health School Spirit Month was the last topic. We did that in December. It was a really big success. We're going to plan to do another one in the new year as part of this academic calendar. Something called Start with Kindness Week will happen in February, and that will go through roughly St. Patrick's Day in March. And that is it for the wellness report.
Very good.
Dan, can I ask you a question?
Certainly.
We have discussed, I want to say last year and the year before at one point, not doing jump rope for heart, but doing something that was going to support our own community.
Right.
If I remember correctly, at one point, there was a year where $17,000 went to jump rope for heart, but we're having major budget cuts in our own facilities.
Yep.
We've got lots of families in need this year. Can you take this back to the committee and talk to them about, we really need to target what we're doing. And
How to keep
we
it
need to
local is
take
what
care
you
of
want to
home
know, right?
first.
How to keep it local.
Yeah, we got to take care of home first.
Yep. Okay. So I think, Sean, correct me if I'm wrong. I think Mr. Flake is leading the jump rope for heart. Is that right?
You're correct, Mr. Dukes.
Yeah. So is that something, should I contact him or can you take that?
Yeah, we can talk to him about it. For some reason, I feel like this may be like the 30th anniversary jumper from Harp. So I don't know if you want to break that transition on the 30th year, but I'll bring it up to him nonetheless.
Well, we were going to break it last
17,000
year.
to our community. I break it yesterday.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
we were supposed to do it last year and break up with them. But there was lots of change going on. So I
This
can
is
understand why
the
that
third
didn't happen.
anniversary of us having our budget cut. So I definitely get the
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Sean, can we maybe jointly take that up with Mr. Flake?
I will certainly have a conversation with Mr. Flake about this.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Judy.
Anything else? Township Council, Dr. Jones?
So Sean and I got on the call, and unfortunately, Mr. Barton had a medical emergency arise, so he was unable to join us. He has asked to reschedule after the first of the year when he is fully recuperated, and he has also asked that Mr. Franzen join us, who is representing the Tabernacle Historical Society. So we've asked that as soon as he is feeling better, that he reach out, and we will reschedule, and we wish him a very speedy and safe recovery.
Very good. Baby steps. All right, public comment on agenda items. Please state your name and address. Each speaker will be allotted a maximum of 3 minutes. No one may speak more than once on the same topic. Please keep your comments respectful and non-defamatory. Keep in mind that it may not always be possible or appropriate for the board to directly answer questions during public comment periods. And at this time, you may only speak on agenda items. Do we have any hands? Sean's shaking his head no.
No.
Okay. Give it half a second more. Just in case somebody can't find a button like me, I still can't find that little raise your hand button anywheres.
I'm scrolling through, but I don't see anyone.
Okay.
No, I don't have anyone.
Okay. Moving on then. Recommendations of the superintendent under education. We have 1 through 1. 1 through 1. Motion?
So moved, Brian.
Second, Kevin.
Any comments or questions?
Just want to confirm we're going to move from a committee of the whole structure to a subcommittee structure for the year?
Right, so I asked each one of yous individually what yous would prefer. And sorry, Steve, you and I got outnumbered, but that's okay. So yeah, everybody else believes that going back to independent committees is the best going forward for next year. So we'll discuss that soon.
Okay.
Okay. Roll call?
Mrs. Corey?
Yes.
Mr. Dilks?
Yes.
Colonel Hensky?
Yes.
Dr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Lepsis?
Yes.
Dr. McCloy?
Yes.
Mrs. Shoemaker?
Yes.
Mrs. Saylor?
Yes.
Mrs. Chamberlain?
Yes. Under personnel, I have 1 and 2. Can I get a motion?
So moved, Megan.
Second, Vicky.
Thank you.
Comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call?
Mrs. Corey?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Corey?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Dilks?
Yes.
Colonel Hensky?
Yes.
Dr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Lepsis?
Yes.
Dr. McCloy?
Yes.
Mrs. Shoemaker?
Yes.
Mrs. Saylor?
Yes.
Mrs. Chamberlain?
Yes. Under financials, I have 1 through 13. Can I get a motion?
So moved, Vicky.
Second, Steve.
Questions or comments?
Yes, number 10. Number 10 was approval of the budget calendar.
Mhm.
And I think it was last year, seems like 10 years ago. I think it was last year at one of the county meetings Vicky and I was at, and the presenter was from Medford, and it talked about when doing your budget calendar to put in a time when you would meet with the township committee and make them aware of our budgetary needs and have them come a little bit on board with that. Was that last year, Vicky?
Yes.
And I remember we talked to Jessica about it, but then of course Jessica left and now we're starting all over again. So I was hoping to see it on the calendar.
I can add that in. That's not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, I could put it in there. I can talk to Dr. Jones and Mr. Bannon, because if they're meeting with the township committee, then we can maybe put that all together.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions? Seeing none, roll call?
Mrs. Corey,
Yes.
Mr. Dilks,
Yes.
Colonel Hensky,
Yes.
Dr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Lepsis,
Yes.
Dr. McCloy,
Yes.
Mrs. Shoemaker,
Yes.
Mrs. Saylor,
Yes.
Mrs. Chamberlain.
Yes. Under policy, we have 1. Can I get a motion?
So moved, Gail.
Second, Vicky.
Any comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call?
Mrs. Corey,
Yes.
Mr. Dilks,
Yes.
Colonel Hensky,
Yes.
Dr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Lepsis,
Yes.
Dr. McCloy,
Yes.
Mrs. Shoemaker,
Yes.
Mrs. Saylor,
Yes.
and Mrs. Chamberlain.
Yes.
Thank you.
Our enrollment at TESS is 142, OMS is 518, out of district we have 4 for a total of 664. Do we have anything for miscellaneous?
Yes. I just wanted to thank Mr. Ipri. The students did a wonderful job at the winter concert. And if you didn't get a chance to watch it, it's really sweet. You should watch it. The kids did a great job, very talented. So I do want to acknowledge Mr. Ipri and the students for all their hard work.
Absolutely.
Very good. Anything else under miscellaneous? Unfinished business? New business? public comment. Number 2, state your name and your address. Each speaker will be allotted a maximum of 3 minutes. No one may speak more than once on the same topic. Please keep your comments respectful and non-defamatory. Please keep in mind that it's not always possible or appropriate for the board to directly answer questions during public comment periods. And at this time, you may speak on educational matters not of a personal nature. Do we have any hands?
No,
Nothing?
not that I can see, no.
Okay. Another half a second. Okay. Under miscellaneous, do we have anything? Nothing? Wow, you guys are so easy tonight. All right, ready, Brian?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Who's got the second?
Second, Kevin.
Thank
Kevin?
you.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? All abstain. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a nice night. Merry Christmas, Happy New
Merry
Year.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Merry
everybody.
Christmas.
Holiday.
Thank you
Happy
all
New
very
Year.
much.
Happy New Year.
Happy
Thank
New Year.
you.